Going live in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to Power Rangers Savage Stampede Ranger Log 015. Today we have a very special Ranger log. We're gonna explore the concept. We're gonna explore a little bit more of what's going on with Natasha. Natasha, after you parted from your grandmother, you decided to go home to give yourself some courage before you face Teddy. What do we find you doing? I got no audio from you at all. Like your mic's just straight up not picking it up at all. Nothing. And Discard went, no!
Hello.
There we go.
There we go. Name of the game with this with us is whether it's the entire Savage team or one of us, something will go wrong with the audio eventually.
Eventually. That's just how this works.
It is. Doing numbers. You find Natasha writing in a small black book with a P on the front of it for the first time in a while for her. She's in her room alone with just like the neon wall lights going.
Go ahead and give me an alertness check. Oof. You are very much kind of engrossed in your own thought. As you're sitting in Blackwood Manor, kind of writing, you suddenly feel a hand on your shoulder.
I grab it and get ready to punch who's ever grabbed.
You turn to look, and it's your mother.
Oh God. Oh, sorry, Mom. Was not expect.
Well, I didn't. I tried calling you. You just didn't answer.
I turned my phone off.
No, I just tried calling you just now from the other side of the door. You didn't even hear me enter the room. You were really focused, girl. What's going on?
Just I found my old poetry book and decided to write in it.
So there's nothing you want to tell me?
You talked to Granny, didn't you?
I did. Do you honestly think your grandmother would keep that from me?
No. I have everything under control. I was in a bad headspace. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
She sits down next to you. It's I can relate to that feeling. After your dad, the only thing that kept me alive was you girls. Lost my best friend. girls had lost your dad. I couldn't leave you alone. And if your sister ever finds out, she'll kick the shit out of you.
She can't walk, and I
She's actually making pretty good
can't stop moving with.
She's making good strides. She took 2 steps yesterday. You've
I
had
mean, at
time
least she
to
found.
not that you had time to even take her phone calls.
I mean, and that's, I mean, she found a job.
Yeah,
She's working for a secret ranger organization, but like, still, that's a job.
yeah. The physical therapy program over there has been really good for her. Doctor says she could make a full recovery.
I don't want to not be okay. I've been okay for so long. Everything's been fine for so long. I can't not be okay again.
Your mom kind of reaches out and just takes your hand and just kind of holds it in hers, and she goes, "We get through these moments by relying on our family, by looking to the ones who are closest to us and talking about what's going on. For me, it was your Aunt Marissa, but for you, it's probably Teddy. That boy's always been the closest thing you've ever had to a brother. And you and your sister, you were close when you were kids, but even as teenagers, you started to drift apart before the incident.
Yeah, it's all so loud. I think for Nasha, she softens her shoulders a bit and like really looks in her mom in the eye for the first time since they've been talking. It just says, "It's all so loud." And I was angry and violent to keep the anger, to keep from having it to be loud. Then I was introspective and helpful. Then it was college. Now it's saving the world, and it's still just so loud. And all I can think is, at what point am I just filling my time with excuses for me not to listen to my own thoughts? Because nobody, no amount of advice or love makes me makes it quiet up there.
She kind of nods to you and then kind of pulls you into a hug and just holds you in silence. She squeezes you tightly as you can kind of feel kind of pressed against your cheek. Your mom is pressed against her cheek is against your own, and you kind of feel tears kind of beginning to well up on the side there. She goes, "I know it's loud, girl. And I'm sorry you've had to be strong for so long. I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough for you to, and that you had to be strong for me. many ways, even before you becoming a ranger, you were one of my heroes.
I'm nobody's hero. I'm a lot of people's worst nightmare.
She kind of pulls away and then kind of lifts your cheek. She goes, "You were my hero." The reason is, I know what you did to that boy who hurt your sister. Things that I could never have done. You two might have been troublemakers, but you always had good hearts.
I put her in that situation to begin with, Mom. If I wasn't constantly pushing us and the other rats to keep doing more, fighting more, arguing more, it wouldn't have got that bad.
Oh, yes, it would have. Yes, it would have, girl. Th- There's something I never showed you. And she pulls out her phone and she opens up a web page and logs in. She goes, "I had this on your sister's phone, and I had one on yours as well, but you were just a lot sneakier than your sister was about it."
Okay.
She
I
hands you,
figured,
she opens up some messages and she just hands you the phone.
yeah, I had a second phone.
As you start to read through these messages, you start to see that your sister was instigating things even more than you were. Um, and she had planned to target these boys months before the event, due to something that that man had done to one of her friends. He had hurt her, so she was going to really hurt him. Got into an altercation at a party and he hit her, so she was going to break him now. She just never shared that information with you. And you start to read through these texts, and a lot of the events that happened leading up to it begin to kind of make sense. Certain things that your sister and the other girls had done that even you felt were kind of like, whoa. You you pushed things, but you didn't push them to the same level as what you were reading.
Yes,
This is why your sister and I were fighting all the time. Because I read these.
I mean, vandalism's one thing, but this is a lot.
But if you look at the reasons, it makes sense, though.
When you're angry, it just makes it easier for everything else to be quiet.
Yeah, it does.
I'm not angry anymore, and at this point, I have too much to lose.
Oh, like what?
It's like been like a week. It's not serious, but like I might have a boyfriend.
Oh,
Maybe
is it Teddy?
Ew, no.
And who is it?
Gabe? The
Oh,
pink one.
no, I know which one Gabe is, honey. Huh.
You thought he was gay, didn't you?
Yes, I will openly admit that I thought he was gay.
I think this like she's been crying this whole time, but she's I might have noticed the pan pin, like the pan pride pin on his like that he's kind of always wearing. Really did clue me in on that one.
Well, regardless, he seems like a really good kid.
Yeah.
If he made you fall for him, then it must be something else. 'Cause I think I can count on one hand how many times you've had a crush.
Yeah, most guys are just scared. Most guys are scared of me, and honestly, I like it that way.
Yeah, yeah. I think the last one. I think the last one was. He was just gross.
Yeah, yeah. Don't make me laugh to try to make me feel better about my life. Let me wallow in self pity.
She just kind of gives you a look like, "Excuse me."
Let me be sad. I so rarely get to be melodramatic.
She goes, "You, Natasha, you always take on the world. You always take on all the responsibility. You've done that since you were little. Even causing problems, you've always seemed like you were trying to do it for a good reason, even if it was just to fight the man."
A lot of those guys were dicks. I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of it was just vandalism. Vandalism makes you grief and vandalism really work well together.
That they do. Never told you how your dad and I met, did I?
I kind of assumed he was like doing karate shit in the 80s. I don't know.
No.
Like,
She goes, "Give me a minute." And she really quickly runs out of the room, comes back about 3, 4 minutes later with this book. Um, Clearly, this old picture book, one you've never seen before. And she kind of sets it down and opens it up, and it's a scrapbook. And it shows your mother and your father in their really late teens, maybe early 20s. They look like they might have just entered college. And your mom looks like she stepped straight out of the freaking 70s. Like like she was ready to fight the power and everything. She's got the full hippie do everything. And your dad looks the same way.
oh my god, were you guys hipsters? Gross.
Hey, we fought the power too. We
You were
actually
2 decades too late. Didn't you go to college in the 90s?
no. We went to college in the late 80s. We're,
You're still, I don't know. Time is fucked for me now. My grandmother's over a century years old.
yeah. Yeah. It's she
Um,
goes, this was the day we met. And it's a it's a picture of a protest being held at the college in Angel Grove. She goes, we were we were protesting some goofy speaker at the time. and he was talking about the good traits of communism, and we were going to fight the power because they were trying to bring communism into the states really heavily at the time. This was before all the 2020s when shit got really weird.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Here, this is,
Mm,
and she starts kind of flipping, and you kind of see like it shows pictures of them dating. They were people around them clearly look like they're in the late 80s, maybe early 90s, like 88, 88, 89. Your parents kind of built up a little bit, they built a career before they had kids.
good
Um,
for them.
they were probably, um, you learned later that your mom's quite a bit older than you think she is.
This is a life. This is
She just
life
looks
for me.
really
Honestly,
good. She keeps it
I was like,
really good.
honestly, just like I've never quite asked you how old you were. And honestly, I feel like I did that on purpose.
Because I'm 56.
It's
Yeah.
a good time to tell you I probably don't want to have kids. You probably.
Yeah.
I feel like if I drop this on you now, you can't be mad because I'm sad.
He goes, that's okay. I just want you to be happy. And then it shows a picture. Then it flips over, and it shows a picture of all four of you. You and your sister are maybe 3 to 4 days old. It's basically showing a picture of them, of you two being brought home. She flips to another one. She goes, "When you kids were born, that's when your dad and I really started. We kind of put the rebel stuff away, and we ended up fighting the power through the legal system. That's why I ended up becoming a lawyer. And your dad he was something else. He may have done a lot of karate, but he was still
It's a,
it
it
was
was a lot of karate.
a lot of karate. It was a lot of karate.
Just so much. Truly, just like Adam levels of karate.
Yeah. Well, she kind of flips it on, and it shows you. It kind of goes on, and it shows like images of like your guys' first birthdays, the first Christmas you guys were brought home. It's just kind of she's flipping through, and you just see all. And these are all a lot of these are like some of these are Polaroids, um, and others are pictures that were clearly printed out, just like on a home printer. And then it gets to when you guys are 10 years old, and for the first time, your dad's not there in any of the pictures, and you can kind of see tears kind of welling up on your mom's eyes, and she goes, "This is this was the one of the hardest days of my life. Was you and your sister's first birthday after your dad. I think it was the only birthday that you kids weren't even happy."
Trust. I mean, I kind of hated all my birthdays after that.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't long after, so I can understand.
I think about death a lot. She like looks. She's like, I need you to listen to this. Not tell me it'll be okay or give me advice. I need you to listen to me and hear me when I say this. I think about death a lot and what it will mean if I'm gone. And I know that it would fuck up a lot of people's worlds. You know? So I stay. And I put things in front of me that make it make sense for me to stay. And I laugh. God, do I laugh. And I don't stop moving. And honestly, I don't know how to not do that. But this isn't something that anybody can fix.
No.
This is something I have to do. And I know you love me. And I have to tell my friends what's going on. But I need to figure out what I actually want to do with my life. Because I've spent so much time thinking about my death. And I think right now, the one thing doing that makes me feel like I'm alive is helping people when I'm a ranger.
I can
And
understand.
I know that that's not sustainable, but it's good enough for me right now, at least to stay gripped to the grass long enough for me to get help. And I will. And when I do this next thing, know that I'm not running from my problems, but I have a responsibility to the world. I gotta go find out what's going on. JJ is missing. So is Miss Akela and other prominent people around the city. People connected to Granny and the original Guardians of the Earth.
Yeah.
I understand that you have been terrified most of my life that I wouldn't be okay. And I can't tell you I won't be. Because I don't know what being okay looks like quite yet. But I can tell you this. I'm not gonna break something for no reason now. I have something to do. And it makes me happy. And I'm gonna go do it.
She kind of just gives you this. She just pulls you in. No words are said. None need to be said. Kind of she just rubs your back gently as she whispers in your ear. She goes, "Just promise me you won't leave me too."
I think I just she pulls her in and just says, I don't make promises I can't, but I promise you I'll fight no matter what happens. And then if my time ever comes that I didn't go down without.
She leans back and she kind of, as both tears are welling up in both your eyes, she kind of wipes the tears away from yours. She goes, "It's times like this I'm reminded how much of your of your father's daughter you really are. He would be so proud of you. Wanted nothing more than to see you girls help people.
For the first time in a long time, I think I believe that. And I think she turns and goes to the garage. But she like as normally she drives like very beat up old car. She grabs a set of keys with a rat dangling on the side and pulls out Blackwood Manor's garage with this very nice, sleek black motorcycle and just drives off.
The scene kind of shifts, and we see your mother kind of looking away as she goes off. As you're driving away, you know that there's really only one name left that makes any semblance of sense for them to be talking about. And that's the CEO of one of the local forestry companies. They do a lot of nonprofits. They're a huge nonprofit organization here. And they do like galas and fundraisers, and very, 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 very wealthy people are very involved with this company. And there's only one person on the board of this company that makes any semblance of sense. You know that he's likely the next target. And you drive to the building, and then you pull up and kind of step off your motorcycle. As you kind of look around, you can see there like there's a reception. This building is massive. Like it's only like it's only like three stories tall. It's not like ginormously tall or anything, but it's about 3 story tall, but it is probably like 30,000 square feet on each floor. It's massive. Like this is a huge set of office building. As you kind of enter in through the building, you see a receptionist to your left.
I walk over. I like get on like, hi, what's the name of the CEO I need to speak to? Real quick.
I can't remember what I said his name was.
I wasn't there, so
Um, I think I said his last name was Dutton or something like that.
hi, my name is Natasha Blackwood. Um, Seeing as our CEO is missing, as an active member of the board, I'm here to speak to Mr. Dunn.
She looks down and she goes,
I won't be on the list. It's urgent.
no, she kind of she kind of looks up from reading her book, because not a lot of people come in and out of here during the day. Generally, it's usually just members of the board or people who will like actually just straight up work there. So she gives you like a surprised look, and then she goes, "Oh, Miss Blackwood. Yes. One moment." She reaches in the drawer. She reaches in a drawer, and then like a secret compartment behind it, and she pulls and checks it and lists your name. She goes, "Yes, you've been given clearance to go straight up. Um, can I ask what this is about?"
Urgent business between our two companies.
Uh,
The investing groups is interested in focusing more on a naturalist view of the world. My cousin was supposed to be talking to him about it, but he the police are handling that matter. And I just start walking to the elevator.
she goes, "Oh, yes. Okay." As you get into the elevator, The scene kind of shifts away from you as you're kind of going up, and we see Teddy and Gabe kind of standing in the building, like coming right in the door as you kind of just you turn and you look. You don't really register them. You kind of your eyes are very far off in this moment as you're focusing on what it is you feel like you need to do.
Um, Before you end it, I think tend it in a very specific way because I have a very clear idea. I think if if I may,
Mhm.
I think cinematically for a second, I think we end and we pan back to the book she was writing in at the beginning of the episode on the bed open and just see what she wrote, which I wrote in real life.
Oh, well, I'm here. All right, cool.
You just see the title written in her best handwriting on a tightrope. I've been dancing for so long between their metaphors and similes, between the pages, between the lines. I've been dancing on tight ropes above flames in a circus of my own making. My monkeys screaming at me, chattering audiences, watching me dance on the tightrope, dance on the edge, dance between the lines, dance. I've been dancing. I've been dancing so hard and for so long, the sweat seems like rain to me. Gravity has never been my friend. It always seems to pull me in the wrong direction. But this tightrope, this dance is my home. No need for four walls or broken down barriers, no need for lost metaphors and jumbled messages, only a dance of sorrow, a dance of grief. I've been dancing. I've been dancing. God, please never let this tightrope fall because I don't know what it means if I ever stop dancing.
This is all narrated by Natasha's voice as the screen kind of fans out. It shifts back to you in the. We see Natasha facing the CEO. He goes, "Miss Blackwood, how can I help you?" As the scene comes to a close, as does this Ranger log. Thanks for joining us on this Ranger log. Natasha, that was fantastically written. And I'm going to give you a story point for next episode.
Thank you. Thank you.
So the team will start with one more than there are Rangers in next episode. Thanks for joining us here on Power Rangers Savage Stampede for this Ranger log. Join us tomorrow as we start in for episode 15, part 2. We'll see you next time. Same Ranger channel, same Ranger time.